Welcome, welcome. Let me put my volume up. Perfect. Let me go ahead and share this live. What's up, BX Ange? What's up, Nema? Hi, Ashley. What's up, Mandy? How are you? Bariatric Kristen here. Welcome, Forestville. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Elizabeth. Happy Sunday to you, my love. I hope you're doing well. If y'all can help me out, hey, Mandy, and share this live with, I think the maximum amount of people we can share it with is 15 people. So if you guys can help me out, share the live with all 15 of your friends. That would be super duper helpful. I'm excited about tonight. There are some updates, obviously, that I have to do beforehand, but super excited to get to talk to my guest. I've been looking forward to chit-chatting with my good friend Fiona, hi, Barry cousin. Thank you for tuning in, friend. I'm super excited to have her on. She is someone that I've had an opportunity to chit-chat with in the community, and I'm excited to finally get her on the show so you guys can get a chance to meet her. Thank you for the gifts. Hi, Arisa. Welcome in. So, of course, I'm going to go through my regular updates first, and then we can get into the fun stuff and bring up the guest. We have a really special halftime show or a halftime intermission. So I can't wait for you guys to see what I've got up my sleeve. But you have to stick around for it. So halftime is give or take 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 p.m. Mountain, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. So stick around because I promise it's going to be great. Hi, Danny. Hi, Tony. I see my guest came in. Welcome in. I'm going to bring you up in just a moment. If you guys can do me a huge favor, I want my guest to be greeted like a queen. So can y'all help me out with getting some more friends in here so we can sprinkle some love on my guest? Yes. So y'all didn't know that I have halftime shows to my shows. So my show's a show, but then I have a halftime show to my show, at least today, right? So y'all saw the halftime show at the NFL. I'm trying to match that energy on the scale that I'm on. So work with me. So I can't wait. So y'all know I am live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific time. So in addition to that, Talk Barry to Me also hosts a Mindset and Movement Live that happens every Monday. That is at 12 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific time. We walk and we talk. We uplift each other. Hey, Sierra. Hi, Tara. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you for sharing the live. We're doing fantastic. We got a lot of people in here. We're tapping throughout the night. So thank you so much for that. BME, Barry Mel Experience, they are live every Taco Tuesday, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific time. Those guys are insane, but they're always a good time and they have good intentions. So definitely make sure you check them out. Mel from our Sleeve Life podcast, she will be starting her Mel Unfiltered. It'll be on Thursday starting May 15th. So we've got a few days before that starts, but May 15th, it'll be 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, and 6 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure you check that out. Mel is in a complete vibe. She's hilarious. Hi, VSG Titan. Welcome in. Very nice. Okay, we're rocking and rolling tonight. I love that. Love it. Listen, we have a halftime show to my show today, so stick around, share the live, because it's going to be good. And hi, Barry Mother. Thank you for the love. There's another show that's recently come up on the scene, and I want to give them some love. It's called Love After Bariatrics by Braceface_VSG Mila and the Zadal, and that's on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific time. So there are shows all across the board. Make sure you sprinkle some love on everybody who is taking their time to put together these really beautifully curated shows. So that is called Love After Bariatrics. And I know there was another show, and I apologize because I don't have that information in front of me. But make sure you follow Bariatric Bubba and I believe is Mom of Seven. They also have their own show as well. So I'm gonna get all that information for you guys for next Sunday, and hopefully we can get them on the show so that way they can share what they've got going on and what they've got cooking. It would be my landscaper to come right now in this very moment when I'm doing my show, because I just seen him zip past my window. So I apologize if y'all hear Bariatric Path podcast. Thank you, VSG Titan. I always forget the other one. So if you have the hours, go ahead and drop it. Bariatric lock-in Fridays 8 p.m. Perfect. So thank you so much for that. So we've got a lot of stuff cooking throughout the week. So you are entertained from Sunday all the way through Saturday until you get to see me again on Sunday. So that's why I love the teamwork. I'm part of that team. Okay, look, period. So I'm glad that you're here. So that way you are able to correct me on those hours. Water Check Wednesday, every Wednesday at 6:15 p.m. Central Standard Time with Berry Mother. Berry Mother's been cooking up, man. She's always cooking. She's always reminding us to take our vitamins. So if you haven't taken your vitamins, go ahead and take those vitamins. If you haven't done your water check, it is a good time to get hydrated. We are not playing these games before the summer is up. I'm not trying to end up in nobody hospital, so here we go. So today we have an awesome guest, but before we bring up the guest up today, the theme we're kind of jumping into is we have bariatric surgery, right? And now, while you're getting ready to have bariatric surgery, they give you all these like pamphlets and things just to get you like prepped for bariatric surgery, right? But let me ask y'all in the chat, were there things that, while the doctors did the best they could to inform you, that you did not know or did not expect that you experience post-op bariatric? Let me know in the chat. You don't have to specify. You can just say yes, 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 or no, no, no. Everything my doctor said was exactly what happened. I'm going to go ahead and just go on the record and say, yes, absolutely. There were things that I did not get on the pamphlet. Okay. And we're going to unpack all of that tonight because there are so many things that I did not anticipate that I'm like, wait, hold up. This was not on the brochure. I'm going to need that to be a little higher on your priority list. So tonight I'm going to be talking a little bit about that with my friend Fiona, who's going to share a little bit about her story. And also she's going to be my co-host. We're going to talk about all those things tonight. So I'm excited to bring her up. If you are excited as much as I am, go ahead and drop some hearts in the chat. Let me know you're ready. Whatever emoji you want. It could be hearts. It could be flames. It could be an eggplant. Whatever you want to drop. Drop something. I feel like Drew's going to drop an eggplant. So that's why I said that. Yeah, look. Everything y'all are talking about, we're going to get to it. I'm telling you. Because there was so many things that were not on the brochure, y'all. But we're going to get into all of that. Don't worry. Y'all keep sharing the live. Keep bringing our friends in here so we could all rant about it. I know I have another page called the Adult Rant. But tonight, this is the Berry Rant. We're going to rant about all the things that us bariatric people have to like deal with that we had no idea we were going to have to deal with. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring up my guests because we got to talk. We're going to chit chat a little bit. Welcome. Ooh, hey girl, hey. Okay.
First of all, grab your hydration. Let's go.
Okay, period. Yes, everybody grab your drinks.
Take a sip every time we say protein. We'll hit our water goals by the end of this live.
There you go. So if you haven't started drinking, your hydration is a good time to start now. Sip throughout the whole night. So how are you feeling, my love?
I am good, and I'm actually excited because I think that all the things that they didn't talk about is both good and bad. So the first thing that pops into the mind might be kind of the bad things, but there is an endless amount of good things, as well as just straight up, what?
Yeah, there are. So I know some folks already know your story. So before we even get into the ranting, because I love to complain, right? That's like my specialty. But before I start complaining tonight, can you tell us a little bit about your procedure, what procedure you had, and when did you have the procedure, and a little bit of why you even had it in the first place.
Okay, so I'm so long-winded. I'm going to try to make this short because it's been 6.5 years since my VSG, but this journey really started in 2017. Around that time, my health was good, but I was like pre everything.
Yeah.
I was just things were starting to creep up. Things were starting to become a problem. I started looking into having kids, and I was also having some back problems. And around that time, I was basically told that if I had gained another, 20, 25 pounds, they'd have to send me to the zoo because in Idaho, there's a weight limit for some of their machines. And at the time, I was about 375 pounds. And for reference, I'm 5'5". So I was wider around than I was tall, and I'm not even all the way joking. But the final straw for me was the pain, was being told that if I did want to have kids and if I ended up getting pregnant by chance, there was only one hospital in Oregon at the time when I was transferring that would have a bed or OR big enough to handle my size, and that I was pretty much guaranteed to have complications.
Oh my goodness.
If I could carry the term. So, and already having had a miscarriage before, I really just didn't want to go out with bad chance, even start again with bad chances. And also, it just got to the point where I started having an honest conversation with myself and realized that I was going to be bedbound with the way my weight had been going up and down by 40. I was probably not going to live into my 50s with grace, so in good health. So it was just, there was no final aha moment. To be honest, it was just 1,000 million things. One of the big ones too was we were traveling a lot, me and my husband, and I realized one day that he would pretend to get tired with me because I couldn't walk more than a mile, guys, and that took me stops. Like, it took me walking a mile was not a quick thing for me. And here was a man who was a sailor and could run an 8-minute, 7-minute mile. So I was holding him back, and it was just time. So I spent almost 2 years looking into bariatric surgery before finally getting all the money and the facts together enough to pay to have mine done at Blossom Bariatrics in Las Vegas, Nevada. If anybody hasn't had it yet and is interested, they take great self-pay. I would check them out if you don't want to go to Mexico. I had a great experience, but honestly, their education, I love their dietitian. Their program was good, but there's no patience on staff at the time. And it was very factual, and it definitely got you through the surgery safely, got you through the healing surgery safely. But the last little sliver of the book, when they're like, okay, you're healed, time to start eating again, was basically like, okay, here's a basic 5 points rule. Good luck.
So let me ask you this, because I think that you mentioned something that a lot of us probably experience. A lot of the people who we are sitting across from during the pre-op or just seeing a dietitian, they may have never been obese a day of their life. Do you think it'd be a little different if we'd had some Barry folks working in some of these facilities?
Oh, I think it's absolutely true, and that's why so many of them now purposely hire and have staffed patients or their medical staff has undergone the procedures, both for their own health, but also it gives a unique insight. And if you haven't been morbidly obese, you don't understand the experience. If you didn't have bariatric surgery, you do not understand the experience. That's just a solid truth. There's just no way you can understand it without having it.
Yeah.
Oh, not all the way.
That's our nutritionist is a bypass patient. That's cool. That I know. What's up, Jamie? So, hey, Scott, welcome in. So, one of the other things that I know that we've talked about it one-on-one or just being on panel, does being a little neurospicy have any, implications with you being bariatric, or did it create any struggles for you being bariatric?
It's a double-edged sword. So, I knew I had an eating disorder before I had bariatric surgery. I didn't actually know about being neurospicy before having bariatric surgery, but it all kind of makes sense together. So for me, I approached it from that standpoint, but also it makes me a good rule follower. So when you give me instructions, I am the patient that if you say, drink this bottle before surgery, I will drink the entire bottle no matter how foul it is, and then they're always surprised, like, oh, you only had to drink half, haha, most people don't finish it. You told me to.
Right.
So I will. So in a way, it led to a lot of success until more long term, like after having the baby, and I couldn't go back to the rigid plans and the rigid instructions that they had left me. That worked great for me my first almost 2 years. But that's because I had the luxury of being able to do so. I was a single person whose husband was gone 6 months out of the year because he was sailing. So, water time. So it's, it allowed me to do things very by the book, which was fantastic for my results, but unrealistic long term. Because you can't be perfect forever, guys. So I tried.
That part. Something you guys don't know about my girl Fiona is she's a little witchy. I love that about her. Did you?
A subtle bit.
How subtle, right?
This is what I wore to go to Fred Meyer's.
So for my witchy friend, did you predict some of the things that you were experiencing during this journey?
Oh, fuck no. I don't know how censored we are on TikTok.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh, absolutely not. There was no... Oh, I did almost 2 years. I walked into surgery going, I did 2 years of Facebook trolling, Reddit reading, YouTube watching. I worship some of these early out Instagram girls. I will thank them all. The heroes they're almost all offline now. The heroes of 2017, 2018 were the girls on Reddit, like bearing it all. Because they warned me about things that I feel like even to this day, people are still caught off guard about. And so I went in more informed than a lot of people, I feel like, just because that's how my brain works about things. This was not a decision I made lightly. I cried. Like when I was doing prep, I cried in the bathroom as I was changing into the scrubs because I kind of apologized to myself. I didn't want to have to remove 80% of my stomach to save my life. It was not a happy decision. I did it, and I made a promise to myself that it was going to fucking work, and I was going to do it this time because I was not going to go through all of this to still not be happy at the other side of it. And so
that's deep because
that's how I went into it.
I think people don't realize, like, people who haven't had bariatric surgery, like, this is a huge decision. Like, this is a very life altering procedure. So being informed is important, right? I love that you said the Reddit gang. I didn't even know there was a Reddit community until recently with bariatric.
Those early Reddit girls. Oh, thank you. To this day, you can still find their posts. They were talking about keto. They were talking about marriage changes. They were talking about how your friends were going to talk. Like they were the unsung heroes, and not enough people got to see their information though before they got surgery. Like a lot of people in the same era as me in 2019, it was wham, bam, here's the money, here's the surgery. Okay, don't get fat again.
Okay, I'll try. I'll try not to get fat. No, I do have to say, one of the things that I do appreciate is a lot of people in this community shared great information and great insight. And those were the people who really put me on to those things that weren't on the pamphlet. I'm going to ask folks in the chat, who was your person? And it could be anybody, because we want to educate each other. Who was your educational person here in either on TikTok or in other spaces that you kind of relied on for resources, who was an actual Barry?
Shout out to Nessa on Instagram.
Okay.
She still talks about her bariatric a lot. She's probably like 10 years out now. Des from Woke Up Like Des.
Yes.
Oh, don't make me say her screen name wrong.
I think it is Woke Up Like Des.
Hi, Manny, but her and I went in blind together. So, I mean, we were blind leading the blind, holding hands all the way through hell. I love you, girl. We share the surgery date, and Bypass Babe has great information, especially newer out. Most of my veterans are gone. To be honest, they all either have quietly removed their bariatric surgeries from their profiles and not talk about it much, or they've just kind of gone offline. I don't know what happened.
No, I think people just cycle through. I think that's just like the natural progression. I see some berries that are like, they're in their journey, they're documenting, and when they hit their goal, they're like, listen, I don't want to keep talking about the same shit. So I get that. I understand that. But We do miss y'all. So if you just so happen to be around, we'd love to see you. Shout out to Berry Mother because she was my person. Berry Mother, she's always. I tell her all the time. I'm like, if you look at your inbox from like 2022, I was in there like, I love you. You're great. So shout out to Berry Mother. Hey, Mamiana, welcome in. Welcome, you guys. So, all right, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. Is to be prepared or not to be prepared? That is the question. Should you be Dr. Googling it before surgery or just kind of figure it out as you go?
As a veteran, nothing drives me more nuts than the newbies who go in this so blind. I'm like, man, did they just take your money and like push you out the door? Damn, they didn't warn you about anything? One more, and if I get one more, I'm at week 3. I love you, sweet, sweet baby angels. Be prepared. But that's also just how I work, to be honest.
I love that. And even with, I know some berries who were like extremely prepared. I want to shout out Kia in particular. Kia was like the walking bariatric encyclopedia. And she could attest to there's things that just unfortunately we can't predict. I say to be prepared, experience and research combined. My clinic is amazing. I still meet with look, we love when we still have the opportunity to meet with the dietitians. That's awesome. Being this way. So, all right, now here's one of the things that for me was a shock. And I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. You guys were dropping it kind of early on. But before we hit the halfway mark, I got to ask. What is something we did not anticipate? Drop it in the chat that was not in the bariatric pamphlet that you experienced as a bariatric person post-op. Let me know in the chat. What was one of those things for you? I know you said you have a couple of them, but what's one in particular that stands out for you, Fiona?
One that like I feel at the time. I feel like people weren't talking about that when the weight came off, I actually got scared of the attention. Ooh. And I also, for the first time, was small. I was somebody who pretty early, like due to trauma and a lot of other factors, I started gaining weight pretty early on into puberty. We can do the math and I won't go into the details. And so I never really experienced thinness in society before I started losing the weight. And I always had a pretty face as a big girl, but it was startling how much attention I got, as well as just how, it made me feel kind of vulnerable. It was weird. Some guy was hitting on me and made a joke about how he could pick me up and run with me. And it startled me because I was 140 pounds and I realized he probably could have. And it was kind of a weird moment where you're just like, haha, that's funny, haha, but also kind of true. That's creepy.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of experiences, I feel like nobody kind of warned me about, but how could you warn someone?
Right. Not being kidnappable. Yeah. That is exactly how I felt. Like now that I'm smaller, I'm just like, am I kidnappable weight or am I still chunky enough that I look like too much effort? I never know.
Tony, I love yours. I had to relearn how to sit down because I have to remind myself to like tilt my tailbone towards the sky before I sit down because I do not have as much cushion around the tailbone and lower body.
Yeah, Jamie says he didn't anticipate how it would completely change his life beyond the weight. That is one that I think a lot of us did not factor in because while the weight comes off, look at the point you just made, right? Like you're thinking like, oh my God, now I'm more vulnerable. Now I'm more like, I don't feel as safe as a person in this.
It automatically was like, and things to talk about in therapy all of a sudden, which I cannot recommend enough in this journey. I think it's become way more normalized than when I had it in 2019. But please, if you can access it, or I don't know, sit down with ChatGPT and tell it to be your free therapist or something. Like it's healthy, guys. You need someone, especially on this journey, someone who's not your friend, not your spouse, not your berry besties. You need someone completely separate from that to like work through some stuff with because it's going to come up. Underneath the fat is going to be a lot of stuff. Yes. And that took me off guard as well. I thought it was all about losing the fat. Nope.
No. And to that point, we need a team, right? Because you're talking mental health, but Tony made a great point. He said your hormone changes. Like that was one I wasn't anticipating either. So like from a hormonal standpoint, you might also want to be paired up with your PCP so that they can send you to whomever to kind of work on that with you or get you on the right stuff. Because that was one thing I thought I was losing my fucking mind after bariatric surgery. I'm like, I gotta be the only crazy person after.
Oh, the 90-day. Oh, yeah. Okay. Why do we need to come up with a catchy slogan and normalize what I would like to call the estrogen rage around day 90 to 100? It can be good for you and your spouse in some ways, but it can also be bad because like it there's a lot of estrogen in your fat, and when you have massive fat loss like that, your hormones can start going nuts. And yeah, there was a period where it was like PMS for like 2 months while my body was trying to figure itself out.
Yeah, yeah. No, that is real life facts. I think that when I had the vulnerable conversation on the platform, that validated me so much because I sat with that, Fiona. I kid you not. I sat with that for like 2 months before I said anything to anybody. And I got on a video and I literally, like I said, I can't believe I'm crying, but I'm really going through some shit and I think I'm going crazy. And people were like, "Oh my god, me too. Welcome to the crazy club." And I was like, "Okay, good. I guess I'm not on my own." So now y'all know you are not alone. So if anyone in the chat is feeling like you're losing your mind,
And by that point, usually you've had enough changes that the outside world is going to start noticing, like it or not. And for me, somewhere around like, especially like the 80 to 100 pound mark, especially, there was like this drastic shift where like people started holding the door open for me. People started laughing at my jokes more. All of a sudden, I started getting better things at work. Um, you know, it it was kind of, and then add that with the hormones, and I felt like I was getting gaslit because I'm like, is everyone getting nicer to me because I'm thinner? And everyone's like, no, it's because you're more confident. You're just happier now. No, they really are, guys. You're not crazy. They really are. Pretty privilege and thin privilege is real, and it's weird.
it is.
I
It
feel like
is.
I'm
It
taking
is.
crazy pills. Me at 3 months. Yeah, no one really warned me about that till I again Googled it. I just got really lucky and was like, why am I so moody 3 months post? I literally Googled why am I so moody 3 months post op, and I found a really old Reddit filled with women going, oh yeah, don't divorce your husband in the next 6 months. Just write it out.
Yes, yes. And I know we're approaching the halfway mark, so I did take down some notes here of some of the other things you guys mentioned. Just a reminder, we are live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific time. My brothers of the Berry Mel Experience, they're live every Taco Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific time. There are a lot of shows, so make sure you just stay connected with the community. I do have a little halftime relief so that we can regroup. I have not been diagnosed with being neurospicy, but I'm pretty sure that there's something that I probably should get assessed. So I love the fact that we're going to incorporate this little break. The NFL had Kendrick Lamar. I don't have the Kendrick Lamar budget, but I've got this guy, and he's pretty close. Welcome in, welcome in. What's up? What's poppin'? So let me ask you, what is something that you were not anticipating as a bariatric patient that you now have experienced post-op?
Let me see. The first thing that comes to mind is being able to get down and do a 2 minute.
Oh shit, he's popping shit, y'all. Okay. This is looking like the beginning of a plank challenge. Is that what's happening right now?
Exactly. Tony started this, May challenge to do planks. Never in my wildest dreams would I've ever thought that I would be able to sit here and have a conversation with you. Wow. Uh, physically injured.
Of
uh,
course, you're doing a plank. I love it.
can you tell us about this plank challenge for those folks who want to participate? And I'll chime in with my experience of this challenge. So can y'all fill in the blanks for them?
Okay, so Rab, if you're planking, I'll talk for you. So, all right, I don't want people to get intimidated by this. So, yes, it's a plank challenge, but this is for the community to set goals and achieve goals together. So, I want people to be able to hold themselves accountable, set up a goal for yourself. A plank is like, we see guys out there doing push-ups and squat challenges. I did this plank challenge last year for Sherry when she had the MOBA Sherry ab challenge. Rab and I did this for 1 month, and I couldn't even hold a plank for like, I'm lucky if I hit 30 seconds. I was able to tack on pretty much a full minute on top of that. Now, when you think about it in the grand scheme, Sherry had a challenge and someone did a plank for over an hour. But for me to hold a plank for a minute and a half was progress to where I was like, when I first did my first plank, I was like, I don't think I can do this. What did I get myself into? To add a full minute is a huge accomplishment when you couldn't do it before. So this is what I want people to realize is that, when you set a goal, see where you can take it. You be surprised how far you can come in a month's time.
His I'm telling you right now, Rab's butt is like this. It's like he's
It's
holding on
clenching.
for dear life.
Yeah, it is. And what butt is left? That froggy butt is clenched.
Don't fart, Rab. Don't fart.
Oh my
You you got this. So let me just chime in here real quick because I'm also participating in the plank challenge, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was not able to do more than like 17 seconds at a time. And what I'm realizing is sometimes you just have to start where you are, right?
Yep.
Because that is the foundation to you to build from where you are to where you want to be. So Tony said it perfectly. Like he did not start at a minute 30, right? Rab, what's your score right now? Where are you at?
I beat Misty's time just now, 2 minutes and 17 seconds. But
Ooh!
I have to say, when I started on my knees.
Oh,
Period.
is that where you started?
Probably. On a late night. No, but no, I started doing my push-ups and all that on my knees. I just could not push myself up. So just
Oh,
get, whether it be, on your knees or leaning on the wall, what have you, proud of me, and that's what I think.
well, I'm proud of you guys for initiating this challenge,
So
Tony.
So one detail, if you are intimidated about posting a video, again, because if you can't hold it for the life of you, if you can only do 10 seconds and you're embarrassed about it, no pressure on you. Hold yourself accountable. Put up a post and just do a picture. I did a month full of pictures last year, and I think my last video was when I was able to hit a minute and 30 because I was just so proud of myself at that point. So just put up a picture and just say May month plank challenge. That's all you have to do. Just it's a community thing. Track your own progress. If you want to share any more information than that or a video, if that empowers you, do it. But for a community, let's set up goals. I want stuff that we can do together where we can cheer each other on and be proud of the things that we're able to accomplish together and celebrate those things.
So the community is requesting a hashtag. Y'all have to come up with one if you don't have one already so that they can participate. Do we have one? Are we going to think of one right now?
Rab, you're the mastermind behind everything.
I can't think of one.
Plankety plank challenge. How's that?
What about BME planks?
There you go. BME planks.
See?
See, this is why she's my guest.
This is
my
why she's
co-host.
here.
Exactly.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. What did you say already? I forgot it.
BME plank.
Fired.
Sorry.
I do have
BME
embarrassment.
plank. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Hashtag BME plank. There you go. So if you got 10 seconds in you, 5 seconds in you, just go ahead and do it. Challenge yourself to have those little wins. Just doing it alone is a win. When I got down there and I was like, oh, nah, I'm not competing with Rab just yet. But just the fact that I got down to do it tells me that I'm willing to try, that I'm willing to put
Don't
forth.
be embarrassed. You can't be embarrassed in this community. This is a community filled with people who used to have to do like Olympic feats to wipe themselves properly in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Filled with people who cried the first time they walked a quarter of a mile straight and didn't have to pant too hard or sit down. Filled with people who literally used to shower like twice a day to keep any or all smells, because I was always paranoid about smelling like the fat person, the smelly fat person. So like, how can you be embarrassed with people who are willing to share that kind of information, who have had those kind of life experiences? We all started somewhere. I don't care if you just get on the floor and get back up again. If that's where you are, that's how I started. Like,
That part. And you see how the wind just blew like Beyonce when she said that? That was crazy. That was
I am
wild.
proof that, by the way, apparently you will keep, at least some of us will keep our bariatric hair.
So, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on. I do have to continue my conversation with my friend, but I appreciate you guys talking shit on here and bragging to each other. Did you have a final thought, Rab?
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific time. Make sure you tune in. They've got amazing guests, amazing conversations. Shout out to Big E. I don't know if he's in the chat right now, but he is also part of the Barry Mel experience, so make sure you show him some love. But thank you, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Char. Thanks, Fiona.
I want invited to the next girls' night on BME.
Yeah, you got to get her up there.
All right. Duly noted.
Keep harassing people. I'm a good guest. Look at
Yes,
how
you are.
hair
Yes, you
blows
are.
in the wind.
And she's been staying hydrated. So I did want to make a point because there were some really good things that were brought up before our halftime show. People that were mentioning some of the more hot topic ones, like hair loss. I know that you said for you that may not have been the case, but a lot of people did not know they were experiencing hair loss post-op. Was that a thing for anybody else in the chat? I know for me,
I
not
did.
really.
I did. I just got lucky that for the most part, I got thin everywhere, so it was kind of easier to hide. That's why everyone loved my side bob and side shape. It was because, guys, I was receding here so bad. I did the side shade with the fade, so it looked like I was being stylish. It was to hide and encourage the regrowth to come in.
Ooh, that is actually not a bad hack. So if you want to do the side shave,
And don't try to keep your raggedy hair. When it starts falling out and it gets all raggedy at the ends and you start getting the thin spots, just chop it. It's going to look fuller. It's going to come back. And don't fall for the snake oils. There is a certain percentage of hair shed that you're going to experience because of the shock, because of the surgery, because of the stress, because of the hormones, because of berry luck. I don't know. But don't fall for it. If you're hitting your macros and you're taking your vitamins, then no matter what oils or pills you take, it's still going to happen to a certain percentage. Just keep hitting your protein and you're taking your vitamins so that you're not losing it from malnutrition in a few months on top of everything else.
So you said my next thing actually was perfect segue because everyone tells me the same thing. Why the hell is this lifestyle so damn expensive? Do y'all feel like that? Let me know in the chat.
Do, but I go out of my way. So I call myself a berry budgeter. But I also, the most expensive year, to be honest, is going to be your first year or two. Your first year, 18 months, because you have to rely on a lot more supplements, let's be honest, than you do when you start getting further out like me. The gift is once your surgery settles around the 1.5 to 2 year mark and you get to full capacity, I call it, where you can kind of eat the most you're going to eat for most of your life, you can start getting your protein from cheaper sources and from whole sources instead of all the supplements. I'm not against. I also think supplements long term are a crutch and an addiction for people and just a bad segue. You at a certain point you got to stop eating. You got to trust yourself to eat. You can't just eat 3 bars and a Profi a day and a gallon of water and say, "Oh, look, I'm so healthy now." At a certain point, you got to let yourself eat again. Long term, you can't. You're like I'm amazed. The only reason we're not getting scurvy is because we're taking our vitamins, I guess. Like you can't. I love cheese and crackers. Cheese, crackers, and pepperoni, and it's a dirty, dirty devil's foursome. But I have to also eat like salad. Like you guys, it's just so. It can be very expensive, but you just have to be very wise in where you spend the money. I also don't really. I drown my protein drinks in my coffee, so I can get away with buying some of the cheaper brands and toss them in there. Again, it really boils down to I trust myself to eat properly. And I also set myself up for success. love food. I did not become 400 pounds because I didn't like food as much as it was also a coping mechanism. So there are some things that I have to do for life. Like I have to set myself up for success. I have to put snacks that are accessible and quick and in my face so that I stay out of other things. There are some foods that even to this day, my husband will put or hide, like he'll buy them, but he puts them in his shop and stuff because it keeps me out of them. Because if I don't, I will not eat them properly. So, it's you just kind of have to find your groove with it, especially once you start having a family. I have a 3-year-old as well as a husband to feed, and we have a very, very, very limited budget. So, again, it all comes down to really making lifestyle choices, and sometimes I just have to pass on the potatoes and the rice no matter how good it looks.
Gotcha. So I know someone else mentioned gallbladder was another thing that they were not expecting to have issues with.
I still have mine. I know. Even the doctors, when I go in, they're like, "You still have your gallbladder? Congrats!" And it's because, to be honest, very early out, my dietitian called me out and told me a high-fat, high-protein diet will blow my gallbladder, and I'm asking for trouble. So as much as no one wants to hear it, you need to sprinkle in some low-fat, high-protein into your life and not rely so much on all the yummy, yummy, high-fat cheese. Cheese. And eggs.
Let me ask you this now. I know we talked about, just you touched on this a little bit, but you said that you made some bariatric friendships. Was that something you were expecting?
I was hoping, but I wasn't really expecting. I'd been chronically online in the weight loss community spaces for years, trying to just be less alone in losing the weight. It wasn't until bariatric surgery though that I really feel like I got really right now that I got really close to people, and that all of a sudden there was way more community. I think it's because a lot of us were struggling with some really hard things at the same time, and it just, trauma bond, baby, huh, Manny? Nothing like a good old trauma bond.
Yes! I love that you were.
Hi, guys.
You're live. You're live. You finally have enough people.
I came here just for you, actually.
Yes, you did.
You didn't know. I kept a big secret. Shar asked me to be here for you. So here I am.
We were talking about all the things we weren't expecting. Were you expecting to have a Manny in your life?
No. Can you expect a Manny anywhere?
No.
I mean, really, no. And you're welcome, by the way.
She just appears like a Pokemon.
I'm like a fungus. Once you have me, you don't get rid of me.
That part. But we love that. That's a good thing. I got an opportunity to meet Manny at the JBY Awards show.
You haven't since 2017. You met me before surgery. Oh my god, that's insane.
Look at that. Let me ask you, was there
You remember my whole 30 days? I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I recommended it to so many people. Don't do it. It was awful. Wait, was it the Jordan days? Was it the Bod Squad? Or was it the whole 30? Because I started Instagram, I think, for either Whole 30 or Bod Squad with Jordan.
Oh, I thought you were on here doing musically dances and stuff.
I was, actually, but then I got bored with the app because all my cousins got off of it, and then it turned into this TikTok thing, and I ignored it for a long time. It turns out there was a whole Papa community here.
So y'all make sure y'all follow Making Manny because she's building up her TikTok page. So while she's here, click on her little handle at the bottom and follow. She's an entire vibe, and she's a runner, and she's beautiful. Duh. But I have to ask: was there anything that wasn't on the brochure of your bariatric journey that you didn't anticipate? Whether it's physical, emotional, relationships, anything you want to talk about?
Multiple, actually, of what you just said. I never expected to be a runner. That's like the top thing. Also, I never, like, you hear a lot about in the community about people once they get to like our side of it, like 6 years, 5 years post-op, that they're able to eat a lot, that they struggle with like maybe overeating and things like that. I am the polar opposite. I struggle with undereating. And with the level of workout that I do, like Fiona the other day, we were talking after one of my runs, and she yells at me constantly. And she was like, you're not eating enough. You never eat enough. And this is something you should talk about because there has to be other people in the community that are struggling with it too. And for me, it's not overeating. To me, it's I will literally go run 8 miles, 10 miles, 13 miles, and then I come home and for the entire day, I'll eat 600 calories. And it takes a huge impact on your muscle, which we do not want because we want to keep the muscle, especially the legs and the butt. We want to keep it. So that's like the biggest thing for me is under eating right now. Like I'm struggling with it and I have to be like more focused on making sure that I'm getting in protein, making sure that I'm eating enough calories, enough fat, all of those things. And then also I think like when you lose weight, you don't realize the impact it's going to have on your loved ones, like on your close knit immediate family, because you lose the weight and you're feeling great and you're feeling confident and you're feeling all these things, but then your partner may not necessarily feel all those things. It may actually bring up insecurities with them to where they feel like, okay, now she looks great and she's out there and she's running and she's on social media. And then they start getting their insecurities. And then that's when you can have a whole slew of problems in marriages and relationships in general. And I was not expecting any of that. I never thought I would run a mile, nevertheless, half a marathon just because it's a Wednesday. And I never thought that I would struggle with under eating because, like Fiona said, you don't get to 400 pounds because you don't like food. And now I struggle with the under eating. I work out a ton. Like the other day, it actually hit me really hard on a phone call with her because she was like, you're not the same Manny you were before, that it was a Manny that's going on a walk or going running to lose weight. She's like, you're actually like an athlete now. The level that you're working out is not what you used to be. And you need to be fueling yourself better and doing more for yourself. And I never believed that or saw that. Like, body dysmorphia is a thing. And so you still look in the mirror and you still sometimes see the 406-pound Manny and you don't see the 165-pound Manny. And so that to me is like a mental thing that I deal with every single day that I don't think people really expect to be dealing with this far post-op. Like it's very common in the beginning when you have all the loose skin, when you're dealing with that, you can still see the bigger you. But once you have all the plastics and you get everything removed and you look better to the outside world, like at JBY, so many people came up to me and were like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so tiny. You're so this, you're so that. And I'm like, I don't feel that way, but thank you. It's a very like out of body experience when other people start noticing your success and you're still just struggling to see it yourself. And I think that's been the biggest thing for me. Fiona's my biggest cheerleader. She really, truly is. That's why I wanted to do this, because she really is like her and Netta are my biggest hype girls ever.
Oh.
And I don't know what I would do without either of them.
Oh, well, Manny, I appreciate you popping on the show. Our dear friend Fiona, some love. I want to say that Fiona is a cheerleader for a lot of people. I don't know where
she is.
I don't know where she finds the bandwidth to be so supportive across the board, but I definitely have seen her in action.
To be honest, it all holds back to when you've lived a life filled with people being that fucking unkind to you all the time, then I just don't have it. I made a choice a long time ago to not spread that around. It ended with me. And there's also, I've been through so much in life that I have crawled literally on my hands and knees through the depths of hell to survive here today. Statistically, I should not be here. And so I guess, don't lash out or need to be mean for the reasons I guess other people have. We're all crawling through our own hells. At least we can do it with somebody else by our side saying, maybe we'll make it out.
Yeah.
So we have to kick each other while we're down. And also, on the eating thing, trusting yourself to eat. See, I have the opposite since my regain. I get a lot of people in the DMs who assume I overeat and forget that I have made it very well known that I have an ED, guys, and it didn't go away all the way. When I faced the regain, I started to undereat in an effort to try to fix it, and ended up blowing my metabolism and spending months course correcting my metabolism, guys. It has been a long journey, and now I'm dropping it again, slowly but surely. And it all comes back to like we didn't get the surgery to not. I got the surgery hoping it would give me a chance to relearn how to eat because something in my brain was wired wrong. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to spend the rest of my life only surviving on 800 calories a day because that's not healthy or normal either. And it then becomes this fine line, though, because we all become so terrified to trust ourselves to eat because we used to, and look where that got us. And that comes back to you have to trust the therapy, you have to trust the tool, and you have to trust that you have made the healthy lifestyle changes to live in a healthy body now. Yeah. If you don't live a healthy lifestyle, you will not live in a healthy body. It's that simple. We knew that from the very beginning. We just needed the tools to get to a healthy spot to maintain it in the first place.
And get you a Fiona, get you a Manny, get you a VSG bestie. We will definitely shake you up a little bit and hold you accountable because realistically, as stubborn of a Taurus as I can be, I don't like to ask for help. I don't like to ask for anything, but let me tell you something. This community has a way of pouring back into you, whether you like it or not. And sometimes you need a Fiona yelling at you on the phone, eat, bitch, eat, you know?
Daily. Literally daily. While I'm showering, she yells at me. So, yes.
Well, and some people really don't get the hunger and the hormones back, and that's understandable, but that's when you got to start setting the clocks and understanding that you're now fueling a machine. And for those of us that do kind of feel the drive to be full and get hungry, like I do, I've learned that a lot of it comes into healthy volume eating. I'm not going to survive on one hard-boiled egg and a pepperoni stick. In fact, I'm going to eat like 6, and I'm not going to have a balanced meal. So instead, I got to do something with it. Balance it out. Get those volumes in. There is a surprisingly low amount of calories in fruits and vegetables. I hate to say it, but, and I grew up hating them. So I do a lot of salsas, smoothies, dips. You'd be surprised. You just got to sneak it in.
Point in. And for you guys, if you don't know, in the future, very near future, we will be seeing Manny again. So make sure, again, if you haven't had the opportunity to follow,
we will.
We will.
This is news to me, guys.
We will. So now that we know that we can get on live, that's a great thing.
Yes.
We can.
Thank you.
Yes. So thank you guys for following, Making Manny, and I am going to drop you, my love, but I just want to tell you, thank you so much for being such a freaking rock star and being transparent in this journey and being so vulnerable because that takes courage. I don't know that a lot of people can do what you do because it is scary and it is a new life and you're stepping into this boldly and I love that for you. When I met you, we talked and we had a one-on-one and I was like, girl, you starting your life fresh. You're about to step into the best stages of your life ever. And I'm so excited to watch it and to be able to witness that. So thank you for letting
Thank you, Shar.
Absolutely, my love. Thank you for
love you. And I can't wait till I see you again. Call me when you're done. We talk on the phone for 10 hours a day. So call me when you're done.
Always.
Love you guys. I'll still be in the comments though. Love you.
Love you both. She's awesome. I was so happy I think you ended up introducing us to each other you're just like a connector out here.
Well, she didn't really I still try to remember who's who, but I'm one of the few people that seems to straddle both Instagram and TikTok a little bit. Nat's another one. So when we all get in the rooms, you can kind of tell who knows each other because of their platforms. Yeah. So it can be kind of hard to mesh. So I am very comfortable being the person who's like, have you met?
Yes, I love that. I love that because I get a chance to meet people that I otherwise maybe wouldn't have met. So thank you for doing that. We are getting close to the hour, but I have to ask, Fiona, what is your biggest takeaway from having this surgery? Even with everything we talked about, hair loss and relationships and all of that, what is your words of wisdom you bestow on someone on the fence about bariatric surgery?
If you're gonna do it, do it. Spend the first year following the program. Take the vitamins. Eat only what you're supposed to. Re-educate yourself because it is the window of time to completely retrain your body and brain because after that first year, the tool's going to need to rely on you to work. It's not going to do the work for you anymore. I warned you.
No, there is so much truth to that because I think a lot of us, myself included, were like, yeah, I had the surgery, so now I should just be skinny. And that is not how it works.
And it might for the first year. But the tool will work for you for about the first year, and then after that, you gotta work together with it. It's not gonna do all the heavy lifting, so you gotta do it. Get the new habits, get the new mindset, it is a chance to get into a body and maintain it. And so take your window of opportunity, and it's not over. I didn't hit my goal weight till 14 months. I maintained it for almost 2 years, had a baby, and you know what? I've lost 40 of the 80 of the regain after the baby. And it's going to come off. It's going to take time. It's not as fast as I want it to be, and it's not going to be glamorous, but it still works as long as I'm willing to do the work. And that's the hard thing that you have to face every day is I have to do the work.
That part. And Josh, you are not the only one that feels that way. A lot of people are going through cycles of maybe not losing weight or not losing as much as you expected. Just continue to do the things that you were, advised to do by your provider. You might have to step outside that box sometimes a little bit, but informed, of course, right? Your provider is seeing so many patients, right? So they give us these like cookie cutter things at times, unless you have a provider who's like very much curating your program to you. But a lot of them just give you the same pamphlets. They give the same information, and that may not necessarily be the case for you.
And if you can't afford or access a GLP-1 like me, it's not over. Even this many years out, I'm way further out than you, and my tool's still working as long as I'm still working it, and it's not over without help. Some people, they are going to need more medical interventions, and that's just what it is. But for some of us, it's really just going to be about digging fucking deep and keep going. And the fear of reaching healthy. The day I reached my goal weight, I actually overshot it. I had to regain about 10 to 15 pounds. I went under. I went to 130. It was not a good look. But the weird thing is, I know this is going to sound really mean to say, and maybe it's going to be like taboo in the TikTok world, but stay scared. If you're not scared of the regain, it'll come back. Obesity is a disease like cancer. If you beat lung cancer, do you light a cigarette? And my cockiness is part of where my regain came from. As much as it was also medication, baby, and things that were out of my control, I also stopped doing the work and the choices to reach the goals and be where I once was. And guess what? It showed, didn't it? And now that I'm back and doing it, it's showing, isn't it?
Yeah. To Dan's point, hitting the goal is very anticlimactic. I've heard a lot of people say that because it's not about hitting the goal, it's about maintaining your weight loss and maintaining your mindset, because it's very easy to have good days when everything's perfect. But you're not exempt as a bariatric person from loss. You're not exempt from dealing with kids or your job or just people who are dickheads in the community. Like, you're not exempt from those things. So what do you do when your days are not great, right? That is the thing that you have to be intentional about. So that discipline is important.
That's where you have to do the work that the tool can't. If you haven't gotten new coping mechanisms, haven't started to learn new things, haven't started to detoxify your life and your environment to stay successful, then it's going to be really, really hard. And again, you can't cut out everything. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. And I'm kind of a hypocrite because I struggle to do it even with myself. But you cannot expect yourself to thrive in this battle if you do not set yourself up properly with the support around you, with meal prep, with therapy, with the tool, with taking the walk even when you don't want to, and eating that broccoli even when you don't want to. Like, it's going to come down to making the choices over and over and over again to save yourself. And when you decide that you're worth saving, you will make that choice every time.
That part. Ooh, that gave me chills because that is absolutely the motto I live by. I was scared to die, and I'm going to continue to be scared to die because I have people who need me here. And that is what keeps me inspired. And I do piggyback on that statement. Stay scared, but like within reason, right? Like, we don't want you to have full-blown panic attacks about it. Like,
I don't think most people realize why I said never say never, Fiona. It's not from Justin Bieber. I had it before him. It is because I grew up hearing in a lot of abuse situations that I would never accomplish my goals. I would never graduate college. I would never be healthy. I would never do this. I would never do that. And the day I decided, and every time I decide to never say never, and that I am worth making the choices and that I want to live and not just be alive, it pays off time and time again. I spent a lot of years alive, guys. I didn't spend a lot of them living.
Preach, sister, preach.
You know, when you got to make the choices.
Make the choice. Don't just exist, live. You did this.
Make choices. My grocery delivery's yelling at me.
Listen,
I'm coming.
We are wrapping up for the night. I just want to say a special thank you to my guest / co-host, because it was more of a co-host vibe, and I'm here for that. I think we need to rinse and repeat on this at some point. So we'll talk
anytime.
I appreciate you guys in the chat. You know I can't leave you without a quick word of affirmation. Shout out to my chat. We're at 36,000 likes. Point blank. Yes. Okay. See, TBTM has the best chat. BME right after that, but whatever. I always give them shit. I love the guys at BME.
I haven't been on their show, so they don't rock as much as you.
But you guys know, people throw shade on what shines. But my friends, when in doubt, shine brighter. Can someone throw some shades on Fiona? I know there's an emoji or something that you can just like slap on her face. And then
I know. I need some. I didn't bring anything. I wasn't prepared.
Listen,
I love you guys.
not when the neural spiciness fails you one time.
Deeper. Bye. Bye. You have a great night.
Take a picture, somebody.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, everyone. See you next week. Bye. Thanks, Fiona.